doing it. Now on the topic of racism in Portland, as a brown person, I will testify to the entire audience and let you know it's not easy not being white in this city. There are people, there are women that have a knee-jerk reaction of fear when they come across someone that's a little tanner than the rest. I experience it every day of my life when I'm biking around my neighborhood, and I can pick up when someone feels fear. And much of this is from the programs of fear the bad guy, fear the terrorist guy, the brown guy. They're out to get you. They want to take your freedoms. Worry about those conspiracy theorists talking about a new world order structure. They're evil. And in the so-called spiritual new age clique community of Portland, oh, that's negative. That's negative. When in reality, I'm not trying to stay stuck in the lower chakra levels. I mean, I want full expansion. I want full awareness. I want to know exactly why things are going in a certain direction on my planet. I want to address the dark side so we can truly find our way to the light. And by knowing how the dark side, how the dark prince, how the dark lords operate, how they control our society, we can live our ways the opposite. This is the reason why we talk about this stuff going on. So we can create the contrast. We can be the change that we want to see in the world. So we talked about that, and this all now segues into the very person that we've all come to love and view as someone that's sexually liberated. Her stage name, or shall I say his stage name, is Lady Gaga. I'm going to read this report from the UK Daily Mail to let you know that I'm not the only one that's seeing this. And then we'll talk some more about Lady Gaga and her gangster pals Rihanna, Christina Aguilera, and Beyonce. Lady Gaga is poisoning our children's minds from the UK Daily Mail. This article is written by a woman, Belle Mooney. Please don't take me the wrong way when I tell you it was Cliff Richard who introduced me to sex. In 1958, Cliff's single Move It, described as Britain's first rock and roll record by John Lennon, topped the charts as he visited Liverpool on tour, wiggling like Elvis in his shocking pink suit. I have no illusions as to precisely why that was so exciting, how my friends and I screamed. I was 12 years old. That memory is an important reminder that the pop industry has always thrived on sexual rebellion. The fact that my father detested Cliff for his jungle music made it all the more thrilling for me. Of course. Why then do I sympathize with music Mongol Mike Stock's condemnation of the pornification of pop? Because what was once rebellious is now mainstream and inescapable. What was once suggestive is now graphically explicit. And most disturbing of all, it is being aimed at a fan base that is getting younger and younger. Stock publicly attacked pop culture for prematurely sexualizing today's youth. He believes it's all gone too far. These days, you can't watch modern stars such as Britney Spears or Lady Gaga with a 2-year-old. Now, 99% of the charts is R&B, and 99% of that is pornography. With that experience in mind, I knew what to expect yesterday when, to investigate Stock's claims, I settled down to watch a series of Lady Gaga videos on YouTube. But even I was taken aback by the relentlessness of the imagery, not just sexual, but violent as well. The undertones of cruelty and violence are as obvious as the sex. Bad Romance, which I critiqued with my friend Mike Smith on this show a couple months ago, contains bondage and grotesque sexual violence. There you see there on the screen Lady Gaga posing next to a skeleton. She is going to incorporate dead body parts into her into her shows in the future. We can see in Alejandro, it is full of jackboots, bondage, and it's culminating a hideous gang rape on a nun-type figure. It actually takes place in the church. An 8-year-old can watch this stuff on the TV or computer, and they do. Make no mistake, many young girls and women believe that the only way to look attractive is to look sexy, and to look sexy, you have to look trashy. It's a short step from that to behaving like, well, trash. That's a word I intensely dislike, unless applied to the contents of the dustbin. But it's a word I use deliberately. Sadly, many young girls don't value themselves much higher than this. The message they receive through the screen as children affect their behavior, and anyone who suggests that they don't is ignorant of the power of advertising and the market. A shocking number of young people are so accustomed to all the variants of porn, the real stuff as well as its fashionable pop culture spin-off, that they carry much of its conventions through their own behavior. Monkey see, monkey do. Boys expect certain sexual services from their girlfriends that were once the province of prostitutes, and the girls feel they have to comply or seem hopelessly straight-laced. It's nasty. If you have any doubts, and you can read along with me, thank you, Bill, about the degrading message of pop videos, popular ones, you should look at the number 4 video song in the charts, Love the Way You Lie by Eminem and Rihanna. This song is an overt glamorization of domestic violence, something that WWE is also very, very good at doing. The video shows a beautiful girl and a rough-looking guy locked into a destructive relationship, hitting each other, making up with lingering kisses, only to resort to aggression once more. Eminem encompasses the inarticulate, violent, macho frustration of a certain kind of man who thinks he owns his woman and will certainly show her who his boss. He sings, "If she ever tries to leave again, I'm gonna tie her to the bed and set the house on fire." Then Rihanna comes in with her chorus, background of flames, by the way, that responds to this aggression with, "That's all right because I like the way it hurts." Bill, bring up that ball and gag image there with the American flag. It's mind-boggling that a woman who was just beaten up by her former boyfriend, the rapper Chris Brown, should agree to justify a woman's victimization. But then, she does like to pose with devil's horns on her head. The message to girls is, yes, he owns you and will lie to you, treat you bad, but you put up with it because you like it, or you'll be in trouble. On my YouTube channel, by the way, you can watch this show, youtube.com/AlexAnsary. I recently put up a video entitled Alex Ansary's Message to the Children. It's about 7 minutes in length, and I encourage everyone to watch that video as well. It's very clean in its nature, and I don't get graphic, but I talk about the larger problems facing young women and young men today, grown up in a very unstable society, a society that some of their parents don't even know is actually coming into manifestation, this tyrannical New World Order system. So I encourage you to watch that with your children, Alex Ansary's Message to the Children. And there are other things as well, but through personal experience, through being judged, through being called negative, through being the last guy someone would invite to a party because of some things that might come up in conversation, I have learned firsthand, through firsthand experience, the amount of value that my own city attaches to not only myself, but the message. I'm also nearly homeless and have been mentioning every single week that I need a place to live. And not a single person has even made a suggestion or offer, and I'm not living the most positive living experiences right now. Without getting into details, I think you can use your imagination. I've been evicted multiple times from homes, being told when martial law is declared, based on what you do, they're going to come here looking for you. And so don't think that I'm sitting here with a shirt and tie, making money doing what I'm doing. It's a sacrifice that I feel I have to make, and some of you are likely offended from some of the content that I mentioned in the show. But it doesn't matter. It needs to be said. If we are to change the world that we live, it involves women being more passionate about the good men in society that are not predators, that are not killers. And of course, as long as society places a high value system on things like the UFC, on death and destruction, the war machine, or phony politicians that continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, as long as we place our value system in that direction and we give those people attention, there should be no question why the world is going the way that it's going. Now, I don't see any way out of this meltdown that we're seeing. It's a matter of being more conscious and reacting mindfully and being a good guy, not a predator, when you also end up with nothing. Are you going to sit there and grow food and organize a community and get to know the people in the neighborhood, those that may need you to watch their back? Or are you going to run around, run to that store, grab some water like an animal, grab your food, and just run to the hills, run for your own goddamn skin? I'm not going to do that, folks. I'm staying in Portland as long as I can. But I'm also going, when is the time to leave? There's obviously not a lot of value attached to me in the city. Only thing keeping me here is this TV show, and some of you out there that are listening that do understand what I'm saying and appreciate the message. But it's very, very interesting to see how much I've said come to fruition, and then instead of